Hello there and a very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Rundown with me, Zulfick Farzan, where we dive into the details of the stories making headlines here in Sri Lanka and overseas. Now let's start with some developing international news. There has been an attempted assassination on former US President Donald Trump. Now the FBI has said that it is investigating what appears to be an attempted assassination of former US President Donald Trump, who is safe after shots were fired at Trump International Golf Club. Now a man is in custody in connection with the incident, according to FBI officials. Now the person detained has been identified as Ryan Wesley Ruth. Now a Secret Service agent had spotted a rifle barrel sticking out of a fence and engaged with the suspect, according to international media. Now this was also confirmed at a news conference convened by Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw. Now the suspect had fled in a car and was taken into custody after being stopped on the highway. Now the gunman was some 300 to 500 yards away from Donald Trump, according to a Secret Service official, and law enforcement have found an AK-47 style rifle, GoPro and backpacks where the suspect was positioned. Now President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are both relieved to know that Trump is safe and have been briefed on the situation, according to sources from the White House. Now former US President Donald Trump was at his international golf club between the 5th and 6th holes when the Secret Service fired on a suspect spotted some distance ahead of former president on the course. Now former President Donald Trump updated his fundraising website with a defiant message after the security incident. He said, quote, "Fear not, I am safe and well, and no one was hurt. Thank God, but there are people in this world who will do whatever it takes to stop us. I will not stop fighting for you. I will never surrender," unquote. Now that was what former US President Donald Trump posted on his fundraising website. Now you might recall just several months ago an attempt was made on the life of Donald Trump, where he survived with a minor injury to his ear. Now moving to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's Election Commission has announced that voters in Sri Lanka can now exercise their franchise using their national identity card, even if they do not receive the official polling card to exercise their franchise. Now Commissioner General of Elections Saman Sriratnayaka has emphasized that carrying an official polling card would facilitate the voting process. Now he also advised all eligible voters who have not yet received their official polling cards to visit their local post office and obtain the polling card. Now he also urged the general public to refrain from spreading unnecessary hate speech during the election period. To date, 16.65 million official polling cards, representing 97% of the total required for the presidential election, have been distributed across Sri Lanka. Now the presidential election is on the 21st of September. That's this Saturday. Now in the run-up to the presidential election, the campaign trail of the presidential candidates is also heating up, with multiple rallies being organized across the island for all candidates to muster support for the highest office in the country. Now independent presidential candidate and current President Ranil Wickremesinghe has extended an invitation to the 6.9 million voters who voted in Gotabaya Rajapaksa. He's urging them to rally behind him. Now Wickremesinghe has also questioned the commitment of the 38 other presidential candidates, highlighting their absence during the country's time of need. He said, "Where were these 38 other candidates when the country was in a crisis?" He said there was no one, and also said that Sajit Premadasa and Anura Kumara Dissanayake were fled or were nowhere to be found. Now President Ranil Wickremesinghe has also criticized his opponents for expressing concern over the current situation while being absent during the critical times when people faced serious shortages of food, medicine and cooking gas. He emphasized that his team, which cast aside party differences to support him, took responsibility during the crisis and worked to uplift the country. He said that he was operating by the guidance and leadership that he received, and his team is also following the same. Now, Wickremesinghe has urged the supporters of the SLPP and Gotabaya Rajapaksa to unite in the effort to rebuild the country rather than supporting the opposition symbolized by the Malimava or the compass. Now, he also acknowledged that while former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa resigned, the majority of the party continues to contribute to the country's development efforts. Now, another presidential candidate is Sajit Premadasa. Sajit Premadasa is contesting from the Samagi Jana Bala Vegya. He is also the country's opposition leader in parliament. Now, Sajit Premadasa, the SJB presidential candidate, has affirmed his commitment to resolving the housing and land issues in the country through the Gam Udava initiative. Now, he highlighted his previous efforts in Bachiklo, where numerous houses were constructed, and he criticized the halting of these projects under the administrations of both Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Ranil Wickremesinghe, stating that funds were withheld, preventing the completion of these housing projects. He said that they built a lot of houses, however, the administrations of Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Wickremesinghe halted these projects and alleged that Ranil Wickremesinghe is also following the footsteps of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. He said that money is not being released for these projects. Now, Sajit Premadasa assured that upon winning the election, his administration would not only complete the unfinished houses, but also create new villages and distribute land. Now, he also emphasized the protection of traditional farming land and also pledged to address the human-elephant conflict, a perennial issue that still has not been given a proper solution. Now, another presidential candidate is Anura Kumara Dissanayake. Now, he is representing the National People's Power or the Jatika Jana Bala Vegya. Now, speaking at a campaign rally, Anura Kumara Dissanayake has stated that his rivals have no substantial criticism against him, resorting to instead of expressing slander or spreading lies. Dissanayake expressed confidence in his campaign success, citing that panic among the other presidential candidates is a clear sign of victory for the NPP. Now, Dissanayake highlighted several false allegations made by his opponents, including claims by an SJB MP in Kandy that the NPP would stop the Kandy Perahara and similar accusations in Kurunegala. He also mentioned that his rivals are spreading misinformation in villages, suggesting that the NPP would suspend the Samruddhi welfare program for the poor and restrict business operations if elected. Anura Kumara Dissanayake said that these are all lies and false propaganda. Now, in the run-up to the presidential election, the US Department of State last week updated its travel advisory for Sri Lanka in light of the upcoming presidential election slated for the 21st of September. The US Department of State said as Sri Lanka approaches its presidential election, the possibility of demonstrations and protests is high. Now, it also added that these events may occur before, during, or even after the election day. It adds that historical patterns show that such gatherings can quickly turn violent, with authorities previously resorting to water cannons and tear gas to manage the crowds. Now, at the same time, US Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Julie J. Chung, took to Twitter on Sunday, on International Day of Democracy, to say that the US looks forward to working closely with the president elected by the Sri Lankan people. Now, posting on X, Julie Chung emphasized that ensuring a free and fair election is the most important action that can be taken to protect democracy in Sri Lanka. Now, at the same time, moving away from politics, the birth of Prophet Muhammad, or more commonly known as the Miladun-Nabi celebration, is marked across the world today. Now, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who preached the teachings of Islam, was born in 571 AD and became the last messenger of Almighty Allah at the age of 40. Now, he was able to spread the message and the teachings of Islam in a short period of 23 years and devoted himself to change the state of Mecca and bring peace to the whole world. Now, in a message to mark Miladun-Nabi, Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that Sri Lankan Muslims joined their fellow believers worldwide in celebrating Miladun-Nabi, commemorating the birth of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, with a spirit of unity and brotherhood. He also said that the core teachings of Prophet Muhammad emphasize mutual understanding, justice, harmony and the rejection of hatred. He said that a closer study of his life and the philosophy reveals that Almighty Allah elevates those who live with honesty and righteousness, granting them positions of honor and responsibility. Now at the same time, something that we've been following here at Newsfirst is a shooting that took place last night in the Dehiwala area. Now a 31-year-old man who was critically injured in a shooting incident in Dehiwala last night succumbed to his injuries early this morning, confirmed Sri Lanka police. The victim was admitted to the Colombo Villa Hospital following the incident at around 8:30 p.m. last night. Now according to police reports, the shooting was carried out by two unidentified individuals who arrived on a motorcycle. The motive behind the attack remains unknown at this time. Now authorities have launched a thorough investigation into the shooting incident and to uncover further details in order to bring the perpetrators to justice. Well, that's a wrap of this morning's edition of the Breakfast Rundown, but don't forget to follow us on our award-winning website, that's www.newsfirst.lk, for more on the very latest, and also follow us on our social media handles on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok and also YouTube. Until I see you again tomorrow morning, same time, same place, take care and God bless.